What's up guys, Saivo here. Today I'm gonna tell you a few things about tanking. It's basically gonna be just a couple of tips, like general tips that you can use as a tank, as a warrior tank, or whatever other class as a tank, really. First of all, first tip that I can give you, as a tank, these days, obviously, you are going to be playing with a lot of new players, which means in turn that the runs are gonna be harder, the mobs are gonna hit you more because they're gonna die slower. So first tip, try to build yourself towards that. If you're queuing up solo, you're obviously gonna meet one of the three types of different groups. Group number one, full of potatoes, in which you will have to take lots of damage for a long time. So try to build yourself according to that, and also try to be on your toes as a tank. Try to make life easier for your healer because he's probably going to be busy healing the potatoes. Group number two, some potatoes and some super GG people. The super GG ones are going to take aggro off from you, so you're going to have to be always there on the boss, tanking it without slacking, without being able to pay much attention to what's going around, around you. That's group number two. So for that, you're gonna have to have some really good threat abilities as well and be always on your toes. Group number three, no potatoes, only super cool people. Now those super cool people are funny because they start the boss fight, they don't let you pull, they go ahead, they start all the combats, you don't get the chance to switch from one skill to another. So if you get that kind of a group, then just please tell them, be prepared from the beginning and tell them, hey guys, can I have a moment? I need to put a CC break, or just type in chat sec, or something like that. You need to be prepared because those people are just gonna go all in, unleash in the typical Wildstar style, go all in from the beginning. That's the raiding mentality. Now, after you get past those three groups, after you get used to having a variety, the most common group is going to be the potato group, in which you need to pay very much attention for every boss fight. And also, bear in mind, your healer may not be able to always heal you because, other people may be running around like crazy. So you have to keep that in mind and pay attention to your own skills, to your own HP. Try to have pots in your toolbar. That's tip number two. Buy pots from the broker. It's really important to have those pots. There are really cool pots, various amount. Do not buy the AoE pots, the one that heal everyone, because actually maybe with potatoes it's good to buy those even. What the AoE pots do is, if you use your AoE pot and you heal the stalker that's right next to you, then that stalker is gonna have his pot on cooldown, whatever pot. So yeah, might be a good idea for some groups. If you know that the other people do not use pots at all, then put your pots here in your quick bar. Put the AoE ones. I have only single pots, the ones that restore HP plus shield. They come in handy. Listen to me. You don't have to use them all the time, and in Wildstar it's kind of a weird system that they have a long cooldown, but they come in handy in those critical situations in which you can save the game by helping your healer, not needing to worry about you. Tip number three, if you are a warrior tank, bring as much utility as you can to your groups without compromising your, overall survivability and threat generation. These days, to be a warrior tank, they made it so that warrior tanks have shitloads of aggro. So that means that you don't need to worry about getting threat from the beginning, in the end, in the middle, whatever. You have always very short cooldowns on high threat generating abilities. So pay attention, bring utility to the group. Power Link as a warrior, bring it, make it tier 4 if you want to. It's gonna help them a huge amount because bosses die faster. And if bosses die faster, you need to take less damage. If bosses die faster, the healer needs to heal fewer, and he or she runs out of focus slower if in that case. So all of these things go hand in hand. So tip number three, bring a lot of utility as a warrior tank. Every other tanking class, stalker and engineer, can bring utility as well. Engineers kind of bring it naturally, so they don't need to make like a great deal of effort to, bring it. It's literally incorporated in their build. But you as a warrior tank have to make a bit of a sacrifice, and you should, because it's not a sacrifice in drop 6. It's simple, easy, and you're not gonna have any problems if you bring Power Link and Jolt tier 4. Tip number 4, when you are engaging a boss, make sure that people are around you, ready to go. If you are engaging a boss and you know that the boss has a frontal cleave, go engage it from the side. Your party is there, you make a side move and you engage it from here. And then he automatically turns to you and does the first hit, which is a cleave. For example, Storm Talon. That's the guy that does first hit is a cleave. Why direct it to your party members when you can just direct it to yourself the first hit? That's tip number 4. Be smart. Don't be stupid. Tip number 5 would be, if you are in a party with, doesn't matter, new players, old players, whatever players, try to be as consistent in pulling mobs as possible. So have a nice flow to the dungeon. Don't always stop after 2 mobs. Let's fucking wait now, because, you know, there's like, well, I don't know why I'm waiting, but I'm just waiting. So, you know, don't be crazy, but have a nice consistency and a nice flow. It makes everyone's energies be better in your in-game and outside of the game as well. For example, your kinetic energy as a warrior, right? If you stop always after one mob, then it's always going to drop down. You need to get it back up and shit like that. So, you know, having a flow is golden. Other tips that I can give you guys, you can, you know, be smart about things that you need to do inside the dungeon. You know, be smart about objectives. Keep it cool and always try to think about your group. Learn the game. It's very important for a tank to understand how he needs to position and how he needs to move with a boss. So my next tip would be, you as a tank, try to learn the game. You know, watch videos, read guides, and try to understand why other tanks in their videos are moving like that. Because, you know, some tanks don't do it randomly. Some tanks actually think about, you know, the best thing, the best path for them to move and such. Try to imitate that and try to find your own groove for every boss. Another tip that I can give you as a tank, don't stress out the healer by being afraid to pop your innate ability. Pop it. Don't pop it every single time it's off cooldown, but pop it as much as you need it when you have the beginning of a bad situation. Your innate ability won't save you from dying when you're 2k HP left. No. But your innate ability will save you and will save your healer and the overall mood and groove if you pop it at the right time. So this relates to my previous tip. Learn the times. Learn what can happen. Learn what bosses do. Because Wildstar is a game in which you need to learn. So it's just how it is. Another tip that I can give you, and this would be my last one, always try to have a good setup right here, up there, see, in the upper part of your body, in your head. Have a good idea of the game and have a good feeling when you go inside the dungeon, and be strong, you know, just be confident in yourself. You can tank any dungeon without problem as long as you have, I don't know, level 80 gear or more, which is really easy to get. Do not go as a tank in a dungeon. Actually, this is my last advice. Don't go as a tank in a dungeon if you're full green gear. You're not gonna be able to hold aggro, and if you will, then you're gonna just die. And if you're not gonna die, then that means that poor healer is healing you 24/7, which means he doesn't have time for the rest of the party members. Which in theory, nobody should take damage except the tank in Wildstar, right? But that doesn't happen, so be smarter than that. Get yourself some blue, purple pieces. They are really easy to get. Once your item level is 80, queue up as a tank and start having fun. Other than that, guys, I wish you all the best. I would like to see more tanks in Wildstar because groups are missing tanks. And yeah, if you have any questions in the comments below, I wish you all the best, lots of love, and see you in game.